My name is Justin LaBar. I'm a WWE analyst and podcaster, and we're going to talk about the 5 biggest celebrity interactions to WrestleMania. WrestleMania, it's the biggest event of the year for pro wrestling fans. There's been 34 of them, each time in a different city, taking over the city. 100,000 wrestling fans now traveling to that city to take part in it. This year it's in New York, New Jersey, and we're going to have celebrity involvement from Michael Che and Colin Jost from Saturday Night Live, plus many more. So let's take a look and see what's led up to this year. For number 5, I gotta go with Mr. T at WrestleMania 1 and 2.
Look at this now.
Now, get in the time machines. We're talking about 1985 and 1986. Mr. T, he was a big deal in the 80s.
I got you in the movie.
All right, good. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
In the first WrestleMania, he joins Hulk Hogan for a tag match. The second WrestleMania, he puts on boxing gloves and goes up against Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Told you.
Oh, and a right hand by Piper.
Come on.
And
Oh.
by T.
So you got a guy in Mr. T, very popular figure in the 80s. Again, already has some credibility with the wrestling fans. Rowdy Roddy Piper, still one of these real bad guys. This is at a time where pro wrestling still was a pretty well kept secret in terms of good guys and bad guys, in terms of what's real, what's not. And Rowdy Roddy Piper, in a ring with boxing gloves, actually punching Mr. T, a celebrity who's also done some acting and boxing in the movies. Rocky. Go ahead and Google it for the youngsters.
They don't want a man like me to have the title because I'm not a puppet like that fool up there.
You know, you've got a big mouth.
This was a big deal, and this was a great decision by Vince McMahon trying to get his vision of WrestleMania off the ground. What a way than just to go ahead and take the celebrity off the red carpet and put him in the squared circle.
Come on. Oh, wait a minute. I knew it. Judge.
He's already been wrestling. Now look at that. Mr. T gets the move.
For number 4, we're going to go slightly higher profile than Mr. T. That's right, WrestleMania 1, trying to establish it off the ground credibility. Who's more credible than one of the best athletes in the world? Muhammad Ali. And they labeled him as the referee for the main event showdown tag team match at WrestleMania 1. Let's take a look.
Ali not going to take anything from anybody. Muhammad Ali chasing Ace out of the ring. The former champion of the world is taking control of the ring and driving Ace Bob Orton back to the floor.
Now, what's great about Muhammad Ali being involved as a referee here is he wasn't the only referee. They kind of delegated him as like outside enforcer. The reason being is they actually had Pat Patterson as a referee in the ring. Now, Pat Patterson's a former WWE wrestler. He's also now working in the front office with Vince McMahon, but they needed to have Pat out there to help make sure he could direct traffic of this potential chaos, and it did turn into chaos.
Patterson already lost control here. Ali's moved up. Muhammad Ali is getting into the ring, and we're getting chaos 5 minutes into the match. Gino Monsoon.
You got all these guys fighting, everybody's doing this, that, they're trying to own their spot in the main event, and then all of a sudden here comes Muhammad Ali trying to climb in the ring because he wants to get involved in this.
Ali stepped right in there. Oh, look at Ali took a shot at Piper.
They needed Pat out there to help direct traffic, control Muhammad Ali, and make sure this thing works out. I'd say it works out. That was WrestleMania 1, and right now we're on the eve of WrestleMania 35. All right, so we got actors, we got boxers, we're giving them roles, we're making it seem like a big deal. But what about taking a professional football player and not only telling the football player you're going to get in the ring on a one-on-one singles match, but we're going to make it the main event of a WrestleMania? That was WrestleMania 11 in 1995.
I'll see you in there. Hey, wait a minute.
Lawrence Taylor, fresh off retirement from the New York Football Giants, up against Bam Bam Bigelow.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait just a minute.
Flaming tattoos on a bald head, ready to go up against Lawrence Taylor. Bam Bam saying, I'm no Joe Theismann. You're not taking me down. And even better, they got a ton of NFL football players to be part of LT's All-Pro team to surround the ring. They had a ton of wrestlers come and be part of Bam Bam's gang. It made this truly feel like it was a gang explosion that was going to happen right there in the Hartford Civic Center. Let's take a look. Note my favorite thing, if we can crank the audio up, Vince McMahon introducing the All-Pro team. Ken Norton Jr. Say it with gusto. So here you go. Lawrence Taylor up against Bam Bam Bigelow. This is going to be what you're going to anchor a WrestleMania with. That's a lot of pressure. Not to mention, for you wrestling fans, you'll remember, this match has to follow Shawn Michaels in his world title match against Diesel. So Shawn Michaels, one of the best actual bell-to-bell pro wrestling performers, is going on before the retired NFL football player takes on Bam Bam Bigelow. It's comical to think about, but you know what? props to Lawrence Taylor and to WWE for taking that gamble because it actually paid off. This match was about 11 minutes long, and Lawrence Taylor put the work in. He went out there, and it wasn't a whole lot of goo-goo gaga, cat and mouse. He's throwing forearms, he's taking slams, he did everything that you need to ask somebody to do if you're going to main event a WrestleMania. That's why for me, this is number 3 on the top 5 best celebrity involvements of WrestleMania.
Unbelievable! Lawrence Taylor has done the impossible!
The seeds were planted beautifully for this match. It was on a Monday Night Raw. The Big Show drops down to one knee, taunting Money Mayweather. And look, if you're going to tell Mayweather, an undefeated boxing champion, make it look good, well, he did just that. He laid one into the Big Show's nose, busting it wide open. The big man seeing red. He literally chased Mayweather and his entire entourage out of the building. Shane McMahon had to restrain the big guy. It's set up beautifully for a WrestleMania match.
Must be a winner.
So this is a difficult match to pull off, right? You got Money Mayweather, who again, the size disparity between him and Big Show, how do you pull that off? But they did. A lot of cat and mouse, a lot of chasing, and eventually what ended up happening is the fans truly did buy into Floyd Mayweather as the bad guy. They were booing him, and when Big Show finally actually did get his hands on Mayweather and stomped on his hand and threw him around the ring, the people were exploding, chanting one more time. Mayweather did his job. He was the bad guy, he was the antagonist, he was the Money Mayweather character at WrestleMania, and it delivered. He ended up actually getting a victory over Big Show. He did have a little help from a steel chair, but hey, that's pro wrestling. And the number 1 celebrity involvement through all 34 years of WrestleMania, through all the celebs who've stepped out of the limo and into the wrestling ring, I gotta go with baseball legend Pete Rose.
Number 14,
Not once did Pete Rose show up at WrestleMania 14. Not twice did Pete Rose show up at WrestleMania 15, but 3 times he showed up at WrestleMania, finally culminating at WrestleMania 16. 3 times, and all 3 times he did not endear himself to the crowd, and he found himself getting tombstoned by Kane.
He may think this is fun and games. Wait a minute! But this is how... Oh, not Pete Rose! Good God! No! That's Pete Rose!
That's Pete Rose! That's Pete Rose! That's Pete Rose!
That's Pete Rose! Pete Rose just got tombstone!
One of the most iconic calls ever in the 3-decade history of WrestleMania, and it was all over a baseball legend getting pile-driven to the mat. This was done as Wrestling 101. Pete Rose comes out to Boston live crowd.
I left tickets for Bill Buckner, but he couldn't bend over to pick them up.
Makes fun of the curse of the Bambino.
What do they call it? The curse of the Bambino.
Just completely antagonizes them, actually bluntly just calls them losers.
The city of losers.
And then here comes the devil's favorite child, Kane, this demonic character who's taking on The Undertaker. Kane, who comes out and is actually getting cheered by the audience because all they want to do is see him rip apart Pete Rose. Well, he does that.
And this crowd in Boston loved it!
But I love it. They didn't give up on the magic there. Next year, Pete comes to WrestleMania, and he's dressed as the San Diego Chicken, and he attacks Kane. And Kane unmasks him and destroys Pete again. So what do you do the 3rd time? Well, the 3rd time at WrestleMania 2000, here comes the San Diego Chicken. Kane assumes it's Pete Rose. Why would he not at this point? He's attacking the chicken. It was all a diversion. Here comes Pete Rose with a baseball bat. Well, that didn't work out either. Pete Rose goes down as the number 1 celebrity involvement in WrestleMania because of the constant reminder of how ridiculous Pete Rose versus Kane truly is. But again, that's the beautiful thing about pro wrestling and WrestleMania. And this year's WrestleMania 35, what memory will we get this time? I'd like to thank Inside Edition for giving the opportunity to come in and revisit all this rich WrestleMania history. I hope you learned something. I hope you appreciate when Hollywood steps off the red carpet and into the pro wrestling world. It's a little painful for them sometimes. Follow me all over social media at Justin LaBar as I have all of your pro wrestling updates 24/7.